We'll now switch our attention to the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, where we have the bronze medal match today, right there in Casablanca. Now, Ghana Black Queens and Bayanas South Africa will lock horns for pride in the third place match at the ongoing Women's Africa Cup of Nations tournament at the Stade Larbi Zaouli in Casablanca. South Africa were eliminated via a 2-1 win by nine-time champions Nigeria in the first semi-final, before Ghana missed out on the place in the final following a 4-2 loss via penalties to host Morocco. The match presents both sides with the opportunity to finish on the podium, which would be a crowning moment for all their effort throughout the competition. Now, both countries have been talking tough ahead of the eagerly anticipated match, with neither side treating the fixture lightly. Now, joining us to talk about and preview this matchup is first Ghanaian journalist Lawrence Baidoo joins us this afternoon. Lawrence, good afternoon to you and welcome. Thank you very much for joining. All right, also joining us is a South African guest, Mthokozisi Dube, who is the editor of Far Post. Mthokozisi Dube, thank you very much for joining.
Good afternoon, Favor, and a good afternoon to the viewers.
All right, Mthokozisi, we had you on, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, I beg your pardon, where we were talking about the match between Nigeria and South Africa. But this time around, it's another encounter, and your team takes on Ghana, a team that lost one of their key players to injury, Salgado. But this time around, what do you think will play out in today's game? Do you think mentally that South Africa is ready to face the Black Queens of Ghana?
Look, it's obviously been a difficult, tournament, especially considering that injury to Salgado. I saw the players yesterday visiting in hospital, so you can see how difficult it has been. But there is a resolve to say, let's go and do this thing for her and go back home with something, So there is that desire to go and at least finish strong. I mean, I was listening to Jermaine Sioposine, just speaking about how she wants to bow out, strongly. She has actually announced that she will not be representing South Africa beyond this tournament. So this would be her last game, and she would want to, win it and bow out on a positive note.
All right, so some would say that for South Africa, they might have an advantage, knowing fully well that Ghana was stretched to extra time and then penalty shootout. Do you share the same sentiment that South Africans look more sharper going into this game, considering the number of minutes played at the last semi-final?
Not really, man. I think sometimes it's. I mean, football has changed, and look, with when players get good recovery, I think it sort of helps them quite a lot. So I don't think that would be a big factor going into this game. But also when you get on the pitch, 90 minutes. Look, it's anyone's game. When you are fueled and you want to do very well, a lot of these things do not really count. So I don't think that would be a big factor, honestly.
All right, should South Africa finish third at this year's WAFCON, would you say, how would you score the team, knowing fully well that they came into the tournament as favorites, they came into the tournament as defending champions? Would you still score the team so high should they get a third place finish?
Absolutely. I mean, going into this tournament, I think there were a couple of challenges. I think one of them, obviously, being the issue of unpaid allowances to the team. And look, everyone knows how difficult it's been for the Banyana team, despite how well they've done. And going into the tournament without a key player like Thembi Kgatlana was always going to be a challenge. It meant Jermaine had to play, out of position, play as the focal point, which is not her strength. So I think you can see the challenges that they went into the tournament with, the coach not having a contract. So there was quite a number of challenges that they had, and one felt it was always going to be difficult. And finishing third for me, I think it's decent, obviously considering that now they are bringing in new younger players into the squad. So I think a third place finish will be decent, although one would have wanted to at least get to the final and see. I mean, when you get to a final, anything can happen. You could actually win it. So, yeah, but look, a third place finish would still be very much welcome.
All right, I've just been told that Lawrence Baidoo is here with us. Lawrence, good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, Lawrence, quickly, let's go straight to business. Ghana against South Africa. I've been speaking with Mthokozisi Dube. He's been talking about the chances of his country getting a third place finish for Ghana. I mean, at the beginning of the tournament, not many saw them get into the semi-finals of the Women's African Cup of Nations. They also tasted defeats through penalties. They're in the third place match. What should we expect? How mentally do you think Ghanaians would approach, would be ready for this game?
I think right from that defeat to Morocco, everyone has been focused on the third place playoff game between themselves and South Africa. You listen to the coach, listen to the player who was at the press conference, that is they talk about the fact that they've been mentally prepared for this particular game. Unlike South Africa, where there's a little bit of admission that they are not mentally ready for this game, but they have to fight for it. The Ghana is well prepared, and they have put everything in place. They have put that midfield behind them, because obviously it wasn't their fault that they lost on penalties. 120 minutes back to back is not an easy thing for any team. So if they were able to survive and then have an opportunity to fight for a bronze medal, they will take it as such. In 2016, remember, this was the same situation where Ghana had to face South Africa for a bronze medal. They didn't flinch. They didn't give up. They went all the way and then pushed above their weight and were able to secure that bronze medal. So I don't think the Ghanaians are a bit downhearted. Yes, they will be downhearted with not making the final, but as far as expectations are concerned, I think a bronze medal will do. Will give them a lot of peace in their minds rather than unsettle them.
All right. Before I asked Mthokozisi a question about what he thinks if South Africa wins the bronze medal, how would he score the team? I'll also ask you this question: should Ghana pick up a bronze medal in today's game, what will be your score for Team Ghana? Would you score them high or score them low? I would like to get your take on that.
Look, based on expectations, I would say if Ghana should be able to clinch a medal, that would be like a 7.5 or an even 8 tournament for me. I speak based on the fact that there were no expectations from this team heading into this tournament. The managerial changes, the majority of the players being new to a competition like this, 3 being foreigners especially, who haven't had any taste of local football until this very point. So I think it's a success. Whatever happens, I'll view this tournament as being successful because no one expected the team to get to this point, considering the first 2 games where they lost to South Africa and picked up a draw against Mali. I don't think anybody gave them a chance to even reach this stage of the competition.
All right, gentlemen, before I let you go, I'd like to get your predictions for today's game. South Africa against Ghana. Let me start with Dube. Dube, what's your prediction for today's game?
The prediction is a 2-1 win to Banyana.
All right, I know. Of course, Charlie. I know, Lawrence, you would say Ghana win, but let's get your scoreline. Let's see what you say.
I actually have the same 2-1 scoreline by this time for Ghana.
All right, so we have to now look at where we put our monies when it comes to today's game. Ghana or South Africa? Will the bronze medal be coming to the west, or will it be going to the south? Only about a matter of hours from now. But I want to say big thank you to you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your contribution. You've been amazing coming on the show every now and then, talk about women's football. And we look forward to a very interesting final for the two sides.